Thank you. It's been kind of a trip riding the bus today. It's been a while since I've done it. I did, well, I guess I did ride the bus yesterday. A little bit on 44th Street. Mostly rode the train. The train was kind of an interesting trip, although the most bizarre thing that happened on the train apparently happened right before I got on it. The security guy and a couple of the people on it were talking about a woman that was on the train with no pants on. Apparently she just had a bra and a blanket. and apparently that would have been a lot cooler if she didn't smell so god awful bad. But anyway, I missed all that excitement. She was getting off right as I was getting on. So day shift at Amazon was fun. Actually saw two people that I used to work with on the regular on night shift that have since been promoted to PAs and are now working day shift, which is pretty cool. One of them, and it wasn't somebody that I talked to a lot, but I mean, I used to see him pretty regular when I worked in inbound as a water spider. At that time, he was a problem solver, and every now and then I'd go to him to have him, you know, if I was pulling a pallet out and it seemed like there was something wrong with it, I'd have him check it and check boxes sometimes when I was oh, where's my car? Oh yeah, Rob said he was gonna put it across the street over at the Chevron. Oh my goodness. Dust or something over here is tickling my nose. Oh, my camera's acting twitchy. Hang on, let me stop this. I'm gonna start it for a moment here. And I'm back. And the damn camera's twitching again. It's about a lost cause on this phone. Really eager to get my new Obama phone that should be showing up in the mail, I don't know, sometime next week. It's really weird. It doesn't feel like it's Friday. It feels like it's, I don't know, it feels like it's Saturday or Sunday or something. My mental schedule is just so off. It was so weird just being in the Amazon warehouse that I work at, GYR3, being there during the hours I was there today. Even the times I've done day shifts before, it's always been, and that was weird as well. But it was, you know, second half days, to where I didn't come in until, I think the one time I went in at 12:30, and I think the other time I didn't go in until 1:30. That day was really weird. Somebody at HR had coded the shift wrong, and they had me in there from 1:30 until 6:30. That's what the shift said, which is funny because the shift ends at 5:30, and they had to have like the AM that I was, or the PA that I was working with, and I unloaded totes that day. At least today I was working with some people that I knew. But yeah, there's my car. But yeah, that time there was just nobody I was working with that was familiar. And, excuse me. And oh look, we have signage. Yeah, oh, I forgot to tell them to change that damn bulb. Anyway, I had the I had to have my, I'm not sure if it was my AM or my PA, but I had to have one of the you know, area leaders where I was unloading totes on the north side outbound docks, call, or, you know, send a message to ops to approve me to have VTO, so that I could actually clock out and leave without being penalized for it, because they had it coded in the system that I was supposed to be there until 6:30, and the shift ends at 5:30. Like, everybody's leaving at 5:30. I mean, I don't even think it would have been allowable for me to stay there and keep working, by myself for an hour. I don't think they allow that sort of thing. Although, it's funny thinking of that. I do remember one time Dustin actually asked if I would be willing to stay an hour after shift to work on some kind of a forklift project. But I mean, obviously he was going to be staying there. He was going to be staying there doing some work, so he was going to be in the area. It wouldn't be like I was just alone on the docks doing something. But anyway, so work was a lot of fun today. It was a kind of, I don't know, I mean, just totally surreal getting there. Now, I ended up, the bus took longer than I thought it would, and for some reason I got one of those bus drivers that seems to think it's, wow, nice light show at the dispensary there. I got one of those bus drivers that seems to think it's acceptable for him to stop at random bus stops and leave the bus and go out to the bus stop and take a smoke break. I can't even imagine being that addicted to cigarettes. That just seems crazy to me. But yeah, he got out and took a smoke break at Central Avenue and did it again at 43rd Avenue, and then did it again at 67th Avenue. Now, I wasn't really able to time how long the breaks were, but it sure felt like a long time. When you're sitting on the bus and you're trying to go someplace and the driver just goes out and takes a smoke break while you're just stuck there sitting, waiting. It just sucks. And I don't know if the bus was ahead of schedule or not. By then, my phone battery had died. Now, when I got on the bus, it was running behind schedule. I don't remember how much, but yeah, once the battery died, I had no way to check that. But I mean, I certainly didn't hear the recording, the voice thing that usually comes on when the bus is ahead of schedule. Usually there's an automated voice that comes on that says something along the lines of this bus is ahead of schedule. So we will be waiting momentarily until we're back on schedule. Please be patient, or something like that. Which I understand that. What I don't understand is bus driver leaving bus with passengers on it to go outside and smoke cigarettes. It's just, I don't know. It just doesn't seem like something that should be allowed. But I mean, I've got videos on my, from back in the days when the engine was blown in this car, when bus drivers would disappear. I mean, I got one video where a bus driver disappeared out of the bus for quite some time and went inside a QT, came back, was talking on the phone. So I got a feeling the situation with Valley Metro, and another thing to keep in mind is that these drivers don't actually work for Valley Metro. They work for different companies that contract with Valley Metro to provide municipal bus service. And those companies are really hard up to find people that are willing to do the job. So it's amazing the things you can get away with doing that you're not supposed to do at work when they are not able to easily replace you. And I'm sure that's what the situation is with bus drivers. But it does suck to be a passenger. Just sitting there waiting, wondering when the hell the driver's going to be done smoking and decide to get back on the bus and get me to where I'm going. I mean, I wasn't particularly stressing about it. As I said, my last video, I knew there was no way in hell I was going to make it by 8 o'clock, which is when the the shift that I accepted on my A to Z said I was supposed to be there. I knew it was a given I wasn't going to make it there that quick without my car. I want to say I got there, I don't know, about 8:50-ish, which is fine. Like when I took my lunch break, I just got on the A to Z and put PTO on it. So, you know, like I can't put PTO on hours I'm not scheduled. So, you know, it's whatever. I'm getting paid for that time. I mean, I'm not getting overtime pay for that time, but I'm still getting, you know, it's still going to be more money on my check. And 50 minutes isn't you know, really moving the needle much on the PTO that I've got saved up. So it's all good. When I got there, as I mentioned, the guy used to be a problem solver in inbound. Now I'm forgetting his name off the top of my head, but he was not running the south side dock. I went to the north side dock and I couldn't find any leadership that I recognized. I did see some people with orange vests on, but they weren't at I went to the dock, the north side outbound dock leadership table, and there was somebody there, but she didn't have an orange striped vest on, so I was assuming, now she was on a laptop, I was assuming probably a PG, but yeah, generally speaking, I don't check in with PGs unless it's somebody I actually know. But I walked across the north side docks, and every corral had a forklift driver actively working in it. So pretty much decided, you know, that there was no point in me really finding leadership on the north side. Because as I've said before, the MP outbound department is kind of split in half between the north side and the south side, with a little walkway and a storage space in between them, which I was kind of in charge of today, by the way. I'm often the guy that kind of monitors that walkway and storage space that's along it, which at this point has probably 4 or 5 different names. And personally, the name I like to call it the most is NPC Line 2. Which is not what it is, but it's what it was. But there's still giant signs hanging above it in 2 different places that say NPC Line 2. So, you know, if the sign is still there, I feel free to call it that. And I'm sure I'll continue to call it that long after the sign is gone. And as there are less and less people who remember that, oh yeah, that's where NPC Line 2 used to be. Light show going on the right here. Looks like we got vehicles playing bumper cars earlier. Yeah, this is why I don't tailgate. Anyway, I was gonna say 2 more cars smashed into each other there on the right. I walked across those docks and didn't see any open space for me to be working, so I figured I'd just go over to the south side, which is really where I wanted to be working anyway. And I have mentioned in a few of my vlogs over this last week that what I've been doing on the docks has changed quite a bit since Sunday. And I kind of want to explain what it is that I'm doing, but it's, unless you actually work in that area at an Amazon crossbound dock, it wouldn't make much sense. But suffice it to say, they did one policy change regarding the way that area is handled that absolutely radically changed the way that the work is done now. And interestingly enough, it's forcing it to be done in a way that was similar to how I have been trying to do it for quite some time, even before, like between my second suspension and then coming back as a forklift driver. I was quite frequently the inbound pallet receive water spider, and I was doing that differently than it's generally done because I had prior to that I was loading trucks on the south side with Alex. So Alex was still there. I feel like I mentioned this already this week, but anyway, I was regularly trying to get pallets directly to the instead of just sticking them in the buffer area haphazardly and letting somebody else worry about it. I was trying to actually look at the labels and get them to the docks, to the destination where they were going. Anyway, I've been doing a whole lot of that now, partially because the one driver who used to do it the most, he was my friend who got fired a few weeks back. One of the other guys who regularly did it, Paul, it was his last day on Wednesday night. I'm going to miss him. He's a cool guy. And I worked with him in inbound and then ended up working with him again as, you know, he became a driver right around the time my second suspension started, a forklift driver. And then when I went back to, you know, finally got my retrain and went back to driving, he was actually working in outbound, so I joined him. So I was there before he was there, and then I came back there. So. But yeah, I've been working alongside him for quite some time, and I really miss him being there. In fact, I've had quite a few people that I regularly been working with in outbound that have all either quit or got promotions that are taking him out of the building. Edwin, and I don't talk about Edwin much, but he's the Filipino driver that I've been working with, who was gone for quite a while because he, you know, the holidays he went to visit family. He took an extended vacation, went to the Philippines to visit his extended family. And sometimes I do struggle to understand him, and I'm convinced the guy, you know, and I meant to ask him before he left just how many languages he speaks, because I got a feeling English is like his third or fourth language. But most of the time, I can understand. I can understand it. But he was just so good at the job that even if I didn't understand him, like, he could point at stuff and point at what he was doing on the app, and it would make sense to me. And he would just handle stuff. Like, I wouldn't even have to, when I bring something to him, I wouldn't have to tell him what it was. Like, he'd just look at the label and he'd know what to do with it. And when he was doing TDR, I rarely needed to tell him that I needed a truck done. Like, he was generally just keeping an eye on it. And he'd be there opening or closing the door before I realized I needed him there opening or closing the door, which was, opening the door. As far as closing the door, obviously I knew about it before he would, but sometimes, like, I'd strap off the load, start to do something else, or kind of look for who would do it, and as soon as I turn around, like, he's there closing out the door. He's just very aware like that. So really gonna miss him. His last day, I think, was, I want to say his last day was at least, oh gosh, Wednesday night. Not last Wednesday night, but the Wednesday night before that, I think, was his last night. And then last Wednesday night was Paul's last night. Edwin got the same promotion to Tom team that Malik and then some of the other people got. One of the drivers used to annoy me a lot. The woman that I talk about, who was very wide, she also went with that group. So kind of good riddance to her. Not gonna miss her. But anyway. So anyway, sorry, I got all sidetracked. So I walked across and introduced myself to the PA, because it was just an awkward time for me to just be wandering in. I mean, for starters, I'm somebody that he doesn't know whatsoever. He has no idea, like, what I do. and I just introduced myself, and I'm just like, and explained how I got the shift and how I came that I was, because obviously I wasn't there for stand-up at the beginning of the shift, because that would have been that would have made things a lot easier. But I mean, the shift got put out on A to Z around the time the stand-up would have been happening. So I'm sure he had no idea I would be coming in. And it's hard to say that it's probably not the area that was put out for a shift. It's kind of weird. Like once you're cross-trained the way I am, like even if I pick up a shift, it will say what it is I'm supposed to do. But regardless, I don't have to go in and do that task. I can pretty much go in and choose whatever path I want to be on that I've got permissions to do, as far as in the system I'm cross-trained on. I mean, pretty much any shift I come in, I don't have to go to Indy outbound. That's what I do, and lately I'm doing the pallet receipt because I really enjoy doing it. But I could just as easily go to inbound and say I want to be a line loader, or go to prep and receive. I do make a point to do that every couple of months, just so I don't lose my permissions over there. And the same thing. I mean, it's been a couple of weeks since I've done the stuffing machine over at inbound fluid unload, and I've been kind of thinking about going back and doing it, but the one half shift that I did there, I honestly just didn't enjoy it that much. And part of me wanted to go back and kind of master that machine. And at this point, I feel like, especially since the change in the way the pallet receive is handled, I feel like I'm doing something that's kind of unique and different, and putting my own spin on it. My own spin on it is being really beneficial to the department. Although I did have a driver today. And of course, I'm working with drivers that I don't know today. I did have a driver today that seemed kind of bothered by what I was doing, but it's like, well, you're gonna have to figure it out, dude. I'm bringing 7 pallets of kitty litter over here, and it's gonna go in a truck. It's gonna be coming in that door soon. So, sort of however you want. but to tell me you don't want him is not an option, because I'm bringing him over. I got to get him out of zone 10. And I'm sure he's just looking at me like, who the fuck are you? but I'm willing to bet money that I was the most experienced driver on the south side outbound docks today. I don't know for sure, but I just got a feeling that day shift has a notably higher turnover with drivers than the night shift does. And at this point, it feels like there's been almost complete turnover since I've started driving there. With so many of the long-term drivers. Well, not quite complete. I mean, Jesus is still there. I did work with Jesus a couple nights ago. But, and Adam is still there. Kind of feel bad for Adam, because he was given the promotion to Tom Team, and then apparently there was some kind of issue. He kind of explained it to me, and I don't want to really disclose that, but I know he's working on it. But I know he was really excited about getting that promotion and going with the other group for the training, the Tom Team training over at, I think, PHS 6, and now he's not. And I'm pretty sure he's still got the gig once it resolves whatever it is he needs to resolve. But it's hard to say, when they'll have another training group like that again for him. Speaking of training groups, I'm still you're going to cut me off there, asshole. Thanks. Speaking of training groups, I think next week I'm probably going to get in. I still haven't been given an actual date, but I have talked to Jessica about it. I think next week I'm finally going to get my retrain for TDR. That ticket's been put in for quite a while, but Jessica, who exclusively does the TDR training, has been on day shift for quite a while. Well, speaking of day shift people, the safety guy, Ryan, who had been encouraging me to sign up for ASC, I ended up not being one of the ones that was chosen for ASC. I'm kind of shocked and disappointed by that, but yeah. Honestly, I feel like ASC needs me more than I need them. It's not, you know, I'm a little surprised that I didn't get picked, but it's not like I would have got a raise with it. So, and at this point, I don't feel like I need anything to take me away from doing the pallet receive, because that's such a crucial and unique thing that I'm doing. But yeah, anyway, when I came in and talked to the new, or not new, but I mean, talked to the guy that was running the Southside Docks, the PA, and I forget his name, never met him before. But I explained like what I've been doing and how I've like really kind of taken it over, kind of taken charge with it on night shift. He was like, "Wow," he goes, "That's great." He goes, "I was just trying to figure out how the hell I was going to get that handled, because I don't really have," he said he didn't really have any driver that was trained on how to do it, so he was just getting ready to pull somebody off of loading trucks and try to explain to them what needed done. So I just pretty much solved this problem by showing up and already having a strong handle on how to do it. And I kind of showed him my little notebook and my notes on. I've pretty much come up with my own solution on how to do it. I wasn't really given direction by in fact, I think I mentioned in a vlog a couple days ago about how I was chatting with Katrina, and she had come over to talk to me. I was texting her this morning again. She seemed pretty bewildered that I picked up a day shift. She's like, "Oh, I'm going to bed, but have fun with that." But anyway, yeah, she it was when she was chatting with me, and then Kimberly finally returned, and she'd been gone for like a week, and everything had changed, you know, since she had been gone. And yeah, that was when I was kind of briefing her on how it had changed and how I'd kind of taken over and how I was handling it, and the problems I was facing with it, just kind of how it was going and how I've been working with inbound and whatnot. But yeah, I think that's the longest briefing I've ever given a supervisor. Kind of like, "Hey, guess what? Your job has changed dramatically, and this is what I'm doing." And so, make whatever adjustments you need. But you know, this is what we're doing, and it seems to be kind of working. So, I feel like I'm getting a much better working relationship with Kimberly now. Like, she kind of, like, I mean, she's still, you know, running, you know, she's still the PA, she's still running it, but she definitely takes my lead quite a bit as far as, you know, me letting her know what it is that I feel that I need or what we need. Now, the PA that I work with, like I said, I don't know when and if I'll ever work with him again, but today went really smooth. Like, I just kind of slid in and did the pallet receive thing that I've been doing for, you know, since Sunday night, and it's kind of neat. There was one particular, I forget the name of the warehouse that this stuff was going to, but there was one warehouse I had done quite a bit of whoa, the guy was going to turn right in front of me. Quite a bit of I had got a lot of stuff ready for it in hopes that we could, because I had a lot of stuff for it, and I had put it filled up like 1 2-lane loading zone and most of a single-lane loading zone in a work corral that has 3 doors, hoping I could get one of those doors, get in a truck for that warehouse in one of those 3 doors, and just with other stuff that was going on Wednesday night, ended up not happening. We ended up bringing in a truck for a different warehouse. So all that stuff was left there, and I'm like, wow, I don't think a day shift's not gonna like that. And anyway, it was kind of random that the guy I was working with today actually did get the truck that I was wanting for that. A lot of people here. get the truck in for that warehouse. So I all the stuff that I set up that I wasn't sure who I would be setting it up for, it ended up actually being set up for me. And as I left, they were actually putting I'm not sure if that's a parking spot there. That looks like a parking spot on the right. Yeah, they were actually starting, they'd actually started filling totes with the robots for that destination. And kind of the problem that happens is sometimes when things start with pallet receive, they'll put the pallet receive in all at a single level, and it becomes a problem because you want to double stack the totes, but you can't. Someone ends up having to pull it out. Anyway, I'm one of the few on the docks that's actually, on the outbound dock, that's actually really good at stacking the pallet receive pallets. So while I didn't get to do a bunch of it, I did make 3 stacks. So 6 pallets. It's something. It's a solid start. But I got a feeling when Brett comes in, because Brett will be running the night shift tonight, I got a feeling when he looks at how it was left, he'll be like, he'll probably realize that I was there today, just because there's certain ways that I do things and leave things that are pretty uniquely me, and I think Brett kind of knows what those things are. So anyway, I'm over here at Roosters. I haven't seen Trey in damn near a year, and I'm hoping he's still here hosting karaoke. If not, I'll go somewhere else, but I feel like karaoke bar hopping tonight. I'm sure at some point I'm going to end up being tired, because I've been awake since, I feel like 2:30 in the morning. But wide awake right now, feeling pretty energized right now. And don't have to be back to work till 7 p.m. on Sunday, so I'm going to try and enjoy my weekend. Anyway, thanks for rolling with on the ride.